Whether it's guerrilla warfare in the jungles of South America or the gang wars waging in the streets of Los Angeles, interhuman conflict seems to draw the attention of the Yautja for their hunts. Though many accounts of the hunter species may be unconfirmed or have contested accuracy, one of the earliest detailed and documented accounts comes from Jean Brunaud, a French soldier during World War I. Brunaud kept a diary of his experiences during the Great War, and had also wrote about witnessing what appears to be the hunting ritual of the Yautja. In Predator, The Bloody Sands of Time, Brunaud's diaries are translated from French and compiled to tell the story of mankind's encounters with the Yautja during the First World War. August 1914, somewhere near Verdun. It is 4 months that I am in these trenches, 4 months without relief, in the same mud to my ankles. Even in June, the bones are chilled with wetness. Chilled and numb. So numb that, asleep in a cool puddle, only a pleasant warmth tells me that I've wet my pants. The stench of the latrines and the bodies rotting out there drown out the smell. The Great War, that's what they call it. Merde. Surely it was not a poilu who named it. Not a man in the trenches. Someone fond of numbers, a census taker from hell most likely, or a gravedigger. Numbers, more than 2 million dead in 22 months. The war to end all wars. Another good one. Sure, pretty soon only generals and politicians will be left alive. Anyone knows they make the wars, not fight them. 2 million, thanks to our brilliant general staff. They bungled from the very first. 5 German armies marching through Belgium, carrying the monstrous new weapons of warfare. Did we dig in? Brace for the onslaught? No. There is no glory in defense. Our generals knew but one tactic: attack. Saber-wielding cavalry, charging into the teeth of machine gun and mortar fire. But one weapon: troops. More troops. Brave, loyal poilu, marching forward, always forward, to the age-old cry, en avant, à la baïonnette. While our commander, Papa Joffrey, paved the fields of Lorraine with bodies, that nutcracker, die Dicht Berth, Big Bertha, was cracking her teeth on the mighty Belgian fortresses, reducing them one by one to so many piles of rubble. Ah, but Joffrey has us, the poilu. We outnumbered the Boche 3-1 when we met head-on at the Marne. His Maxim machine guns evened the odds. Hell could not equal that arena of slaughter. It said that even the ghosts of the dead rose up to escape it. The Boche fell back from Paris and dug in, charging cavalry, marching armies. Fotu finished. The War of the Trenches had begun. 460 miles of trench line from Switzerland to the sea. Almost 2 years, 2 million lives later, the lines have barely moved. Brunaud goes on to describe a battle with the Boche and finding his commander killed back in the trenches, his head completely gone and chest ripped open. Perplexed by this horrific death, Brunaud and his fellow soldiers considered what possible weapons could have done this. No shell or bayonet could have done it. That's when they saw the hunter, proudly collecting its trophy. Brunaud expresses his distrust in his own sanity at the sight. Beheaded, boned like a flounder, the thunder, the shells whistling, the earth trembling. Who is to say what such things do to the mind? Ghosts have been seen rising from the endless seas of the dead. Out there on the bloody fields of slaughter, who is to say what we saw, or what we think we saw? The slow rolling booms of the tanks, the bang of the field guns, the shrieking shells, it drives you mad. The moments of silence, holding your breath, waiting. Like a condemned man under that hovering blade of the guillotine, waiting for the moment you know will come when the storm begins again. Still, I am sure I am not mad, not yet. Now I begin to recall the stories of ghosts, terrors, stalking the ruins, the battlefields, the death holes. In Paris, when the Boche swine dropped bombs on our homes, our helpless families, the stories of ghostly visions began, huge phantoms hovering atop the ruins. To the north, at Ypres, the scum launched their first deadly gas attack. Again, word of visions from our comrades, les Anglais, the Tommies. And, as I have mentioned before, dear diary, at that slaughterhouse, the Marne. Is that it then? Is that what I saw? A ghost? A horrible spirit descended from hell? No, in spite of the others backing off, what I saw was real. A horror so terrifying as to shatter the mind, and so, to avoid the stark reality, one takes refuge in the supernatural. I remember a story I'd heard, now it hit home. Fort Douaumont, key to the dozen fortresses that ring Verdun. Impregnable. Pounded for weeks, 100,000 shells in all, and still she stood, unshaken, a mighty tortoise. Her shell, stone arches 3 feet thick, a 3-foot cushion of sand, an 8-foot ladder of concrete, topped by tons on tons of earth. Girdled by a dry moat 24 feet deep, bordered by 2 fields of barbed wire 30 yards wide, and a spiked stockade of rails 8 feet high. Her armored gun turrets raised their heads to fire, withdrew again within her massive shell. A great tortoise, impregnable, yes, until one day. February 25th, 1916. A handful of men against the finest fortress in the world. More madness, of course. Yet they made it to the foot of the fort, and not a shot was fired. A gap in the barbed wire, a toppled section of stockade, and they were in the moat. With some help, that is, from our brilliant Papa, Joffrey, who, in months ago, decided forts were useless. He stripped Douaumont bare. Its big guns commandeered, its garrison of 600 reduced to 26 men. Koons climbed to the first level, none of his men followed. Koons was all alone, but his peasant mind could not grasp the meaning of his predicament. Of such stuff are heroes often made. Koons was clearly not expected. From a prisoner we heard what the Germans found entering the fort. Koons was gorging himself on French food. The poilus were huddled, cowering, in shock, while above, in the gun emplacements, bodies hanging, stripped of their skin. Koons or the ghosts? Naturally, a Prussian officer got credit for taking Douaumont. His report omitted the grim details. France was stunned. Germans danced in the streets, shouting the end is near. Hungry, demoralized soldiers raided the abandoned city. Heroic poilus, now drunken looters. Others, battle-shocked, huddled in barracks, refusing to budge. Defiance, not cowardice, but there was no refuge from the shower of long-range shells. Barrack roofs caved in, crushing hundreds. Out in the streets, another death mill waited, while Marshal Joffrey warmed his fat ass in a sumptuous castle. He sent another 100,000 men to their deaths to retake the fort he'd called useless. Needless to say, they failed. Kill one man, you get the guillotine. Butcher a million, you're a national hero. We had our Joffrey. The Tommies had their Sir Douglas Haig. Haig, the idiot who turned down the Maxim machine gun, a British invention, a toy, he called it. Now, the Boches had it, and Haig gave them plenty of target practice. June 20th, 1916. Our luck, we were moved to the Somme. Haig's command. Another Verdun, maybe even worse. The same 2 lines of trenches. We charge, or they charge. The carnage is the same, maybe 10,000 lives for every yard you gain, or lose. God, how can it go on? Until, I think, the last poilu and the last Boche hobbles out of the trenches to exterminate each other with knives, teeth, and fingernails. Brunaud goes on to describe a charge of the Boche, including an onslaught of tanks and the injuries of his comrade, Claude, whom he'd carried through the battlefields into the trenches. He witnessed another of the ghosts on the field leaping onto a tank just before hitting a landmine. In the debris of the explosion, the Yautja's biomask landed in front of Brunaud, along with the Predator's severed head. Looking upon the hideous face of the fallen hunter, Brunaud vomited, and saw that his comrade had died. Putting the helmet over his face, Brunaud could see the cloaked predators hunting in the battlefields. He told his superiors of what he had witnessed, believing the ghost to be a possible Boche supermensch, but it all fell on deaf ears. His diary continues. Now no one would listen to me, not even my buddies. The weird helmet? Another oddball gas mask. Maybe. but not for a normal human. June 26, 1916, Haig was at it again, this time against the warnings of the air recon. We were to take a fortified hill lined with rapid-fire 77mm artillery and a deadly Maxim nest. It was no time for false heroics. I found cover. The Maxims were having an orgy feasting on Haig's offerings. Then I saw it. The ghost. It was attacking the Germans. I didn't need that weird helmet. The Supermensch appeared fully visible. It was not a Bosch. It attacks both armies like a wild beast. What was it? An ogre out of Grimm? I had to share this. The captain listened and shipped me back to headquarters. Back under the command of one General Emile Fouchard, a man of ambition, seeking glory at any price. And I was with him in a well-fortified dugout. The Boche lit up the fields with shell bursts. Then came the canisters, streaming a yellow fog. The nasty amber fog hadn't reached our lines. It lay ahead, obscured by the heavy bombardment. We were to follow Haig's tanks, but the tanks have crews, needing air. General Fouchard, according to Brunaud's diary, ordered his soldiers to move forward despite the obvious effects of the gas, which apparently the Yautja had also fallen to. Soldiers fell back while General Fouchard shouted at his men, accusing them of cowardice, until there was a revolt, led by Brunaud. Gun at his head, an angry, demoralized band of soldiers resisting orders, Fouchard was sent out into the field himself. The general, alone, amidst the settling gas, made his way through the battlefield until confronted by an alien hunter appearing out of the smoke. General Fouchard faced off against the Predator and made a fine trophy. After the description of these events, Brunaud's diary ends. A footnote explains that he was shot by one of the staff officers and died in the hospital. His diaries and personal effects, including the biomask, were kept hidden until resurfacing in the 1970s, falling into the hands of CIA lawyer Griggs Irving, who came into the possession of the Yautja technology after receiving it as part of a mysterious package in the mail. With the release of the upcoming film The Predator, which also happens to involve a mysterious package containing Yautja technology, this marks the 5th time out of 6 films to feature the Predator to take place on modern-day Earth. Do you think, alternatively, an entire film taking place in the past, such as World War I as depicted in The Bloody Sands of Time, could work? Or do you think we could use more futuristic settings for Predator films? What would you like to see? Comment below and share your thoughts. And as always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and you can also subscribe for all the latest videos from the channel. A very, very special thanks goes out to WEYLAND YUTANI executive, EmYarUk, part of the Patreon Hive. I'd also like to thank the Hive's queen, Lady Anne. If you'd like to join the Hive and support the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive posts and contests. In the meantime, you can catch up with Alien Theory over social media. Follow @alien_theory on Twitter and @alientheoryyt on Facebook and Instagram for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.